Here we go then. We are entering the Division 3 Golden Finals for TB4+1. We have, let me get the names properly correct, Seleção Nordeste, Brazil versus Deathbound. And I'm going to F them up, so we have SN versus Deathbound, or DB possibly. Starting off here on Schloss, we have a best of 5 grand final? We'll see. It might be best of... I don't know. I didn't read the rules. I'm not playing. I don't need to read the rules. Here we go. We've got the Phantom Ring on Quan, which is going to be a pretty good start for DB here. Only just picking up the rocket launcher. Probably won't really use it too much before this ring runs out. Just going to try and take control of the church. Waiting around. No need to go in for much. Fully stacked Quan now. Over onto the quad. Who's going to pick that up? SN have managed to pick that up, so Quan managing to get fully stacked up, but not troubling the quad. SN picking it up. Goes down. Nicely done. The quad is down. Supreme takes over. Quan pretty low actually up here, so something happened during that fight. Possibly got spammed out with the quad over through the wall, I think. That Arnelaus with the quad was shooting shots everywhere. Anything that was seen, trying to get some damage off. Did well with it. Did very well with it. Expect a slow-paced start to this map. Both teams want control. They don't want to give anything up for that control, though. So if they haven't got it, they're not going to try and push in and give away frags right now. They want to stay safe. Very nice shot from over and onto Quan. And now it's about this next quad coming up in a second. Supreme grabs it. Arnelaus goes down. All sorts of chaos. Load of shotguns in there rather than rocket launchers. Nobody wanting to take too much of a risk, but a few team kills and a fair bit of team damage coming out. Quad going down without too much being pushed from it. 2.5 minutes in. End of sort of the start of the game, as we'd normally sort of put it. We are 13-22 with Deathbound in the lead. That is a very well stacked up over on. Probably worth just pushing out for stuff. 15 seconds to quad. You might as well use this to try and get anything you can. But takes quite a lot of damage from, I think that was Arnelaus up on the top on the yellow. Good rockets coming out. Doesn't manage to get too much off on them. Overon picks up the quad and goes down, I think. Possibly. I'm sure quad was definitely picked up there, but not sure who ended up with it. Definitely went down pretty quickly. Generally happens on this map. If you put 4 people in to try and take the quad, there's a good chance that there's a rocket launcher looking at away from a distance, ready to do some damage as soon as you pick up the quad. Good control from SN over here on this yellow. Got a nice bit of control here. They'll be happy with that. I should say DB are red and SN are green. Oh, nice shot there. Just spamming down, knowing there's got to be somebody under there. Quad's up. Overen's going to take it. Has a good stack on this rocket launcher. Finds Quan up in the tower. Quan respawns just behind. Everybody seems to have spawned in there, but that's not good for them. 4 frags there, I think, straight off the back. Very, very nicely played. Somehow surviving quite an onslaught of various players. Gets one onto Fluati. Can't quite land the splash damage onto Quan. Quan's got the red. Now with 5 health left, can over and get out of there. Does get a back spam onto one player, Pampu. Now we're over onto Arnolaus. A lot of rockets going around on this map. Packs being picked up left, right and centre. There's 2 rockets on the SN team. They are now ahead at the 5-minute mark. Pent coming up now. Everybody's there. Who's going to grab it? I don't see who's got it. There we go. Cow has got the Pent. Reasonably stacked up on shotgun shells at least. Has got a rocket launcher but needs to find some ammo for it. Trying to hunt down anyone with this Pent. Just chase, chase, chase. You don't always see it. But when someone's got a rocket launcher and they know, get a kill on pretty much anybody. Arnolaus getting out of there with the red because of the eyes. Cow probably just about saw the eyes, but maybe didn't want to take a fight. Running out of Pent there towards the end. Arnolaus now hunting around, very, very well stacked. I'm going to try and flick over to Arnolaus here. So the Pent, not the Pent. The Pent running out over the other team. The ring has now run out on Arnolaus, but due to that ring, Arnolaus has been able to stack up pretty heavily. Didn't see too many kills in the kill feed, but I saw the health and armor going up quite considerably. Does get blown up with that quad, but 2 frags and a self kill. Hey, you'll take it. That's a good quad on this map sometimes. In that situation with so many people. It's a good quad. Unfortunate spawn there from Pampu right next to somebody with a rocket launcher. Waiting on the rocket launcher, hoping that they went outside to take the yellow, but no such luck. Did the best you could do. Starting to be a reasonable lead here for SN. The Brazilians trying to take a bit of a chunk up. I didn't quite spot in chat who picked what map, or well, who picked this map. I think it'll be picks after each map. But this should be a good game. Looking back at the history of everything, this should go at least 4. I'd be sad if it went 3-0. Quad now on Charlo. Going through everybody with that shotgun. Just using the regular shotgun, has the super shotgun, there we go, uses it. Nice jump up, clearing all the way up to there. No rockets though. All these packs have been picked up from various players, and none of them seem to contain any rockets, just a last second quad. Rockets picked up now. Yeah, somehow, there's at least 4 kills there, and the packs picked up immediately, and no rockets in them. Pampu caught between 2 rocketeers. 80 rockets now. There we go. That's what you needed when the quad was on. So, DB getting pretty lucky keeping that away from Char. Good rockets coming out here. This map seems to go either one of 2 ways. Either nobody has a rocket launcher or everybody's got a rocket launcher and is fully stacked. And right now, looking down in that bottom corner, we've got 3 rocket launchers to 2. It's going everyone's got a rocket launcher. Char stacked to the teeth. 78 rockets. Just can leave that rocket launcher. Don't even worry about giving it to the opponent, because who's going to take it? You know, they can only get a couple more rockets in their backpack. If they take it, it's more likely to go to a teammate. I think it has gone to somebody who already has a rocket launcher, because I don't see any more on the list. DB very well stacked up here. Char may have DC'd. We'll swap over. Arnolaus on the quad. Nicely taken. Manages to get the shots out. That's a good quad. That's still a good quad. Didn't quite get out. Just about got caught by the rocket on the exit. But did do a good job of getting a couple of frags done. So yeah, let's take a look at the situation while we have this pause. I'm going to assume that Char has DC'd. Having frozen up on the top. So the current situation is a very well balanced Seleção Nordeste Brazil team having 28, 25, 24, 23. And over on the DB team, they've got the split between Pampuan and Leas on 21, 22, and Quan Fluatity on 15, 14. Still doing well. Still keeping it pretty close. Thank you for the follow. But they're going to have to effectively just Quan and Fluatity need to be stacked up more. I've noticed that when we've been popping around and just kind of watching the bottom corner, Quan and Fluatity aren't able to take the frags. Now, whether that's because they're not playing so well right now and they want to give the resources to their teammates, SN has had the run of most of the general resources. This room and red's been pretty evenly taken. As you can see right now, nobody has any red on SN, and DB has Quan with 200. But that quad did wipe out a lot of people, that last quad just before the pause. But the yellow room has pretty consistently, and tower has been pretty consistently held by SN. I think there's not been a point where SN hasn't held one of those two rooms with a yellow in it. Whereas DB haven't been able to take that much control of those sort of items. And they're doing well for getting rockets constantly, which is always good. But yeah, going to give it a quick pause on the video. We'll be back whenever the game resumes. We resume our coverage 72 to 100 and 9.5 minutes into the game. Pretty close game, all things considered. 25 frags. These are looking a little bit out there, but we're playing Div 3. Things can fall apart very quickly in Div 3. One of the biggest differences in as you go up the divisions is how well they respond to being out of control. And it can be... the control will swing back and forth in Div 1 just as much as it does in Div 3. But teams will play... when some team gets control, they will absolutely dominate with it. Now, taking this second pent, or third pent, SN are putting themselves in a good position to try and seal this game up at 10 minutes in. And try and really push for much more than just 25 frags the difference. And right now, Cow is doing a very good job at doing that. But right before the break, or during the pause, I remarked how close everybody was in SN. After this quad run, I have a feeling that Cow might be slightly ahead. Did Cam know that the protection was gone? Surely knew the protection was gone at that point. Yeah, that's 36 frags, so 10 above the next player in the team. Very nicely done quad pent run though. Now on board with overrun, trying to dodge everything. 4 health left, goes down. Quad's coming up in 5 seconds. Everybody's there early. Arneleus just getting a lot of frags in there. And okay, that was all sorts of chaos. I'm not actually sure who picked up the quad in the end there. I was just thinking about how many frags Arneleus managed to get while not having the quad, going for the quad fight. SN really didn't do too well in that. That last quad battle, the last quad pent run has been entirely wiped out by kind of a lapse in control after that quad pent. You'd think, you know, quad pent, you're going to reset the entire team. But somehow DB have managed to come out of it with items, with rocket launchers on 3 teammates, and with a lot of frags to boot, so they could certainly turn this around. It's exactly what I was talking about. The way that these teams play out of control can lead to some absolutely massive swings, which is always entertaining to watch. Great shot there. Just deleting people with this quad and the rocket switch precision on it. Absolutely beautiful. What a shot. That is definitely a clip highlight for Fluati. the near 180 flick, boom, direct with the quad rocket, and now you're just standing around, you're just making it work. Absolutely brilliant quad run. Right there. DB straight back into this game, and in fact, 10 frags ahead now. What a swing from 25 frags behind when we unpaused 4 minutes ago to being 10 frags ahead. SN can't be feeling too good about that. But well played from DB. They might have really had a chat during that pause. It was a longer pause than we'd normally have because it was a... can't remember if it ended up in the video or not, but it was a power outage. So full reboot, wasn't just a game crash or anything or a bit of lag. So they could have had a pretty good talk about strategy during that. You'd have thought SN would have been trying as well. Thank you very much for the raid highlights. Welcome, Div 3 finals. Map 1, going well. It's been a tight game, back and forth. You was playing. Was playing Quake. That's not even as funny as me sending that. One of my friends wanted it for her stream, and I sent that exact thing, and it's still not changed on her stream. Didn't change it still says we was playing. Quad over pretty quick yet again, but does some damage in the meantime. No one, well, except for the Pent quad a little bit ago, getting good quad runs, but a lot of frags going down as the quad comes through. SN slightly on the back foot, but they're holding these yellows really well. They're taking these rockets, but the rockets are so they spawn so slowly, and DB are just able to crush in, take a few frags, and pick up a rocket from somewhere. DB seems, despite not having hold of Cathedral ever during this game that I can remember, they've managed to take it. Pampu has managed to pick up this Pent. Heads upwards, quad in 5, just going to lay down rockets. You got 70 rockets, don't even let go of that left click button. There we go. Now has the Pent quad. Flying across the map, you might as well take the Mega. Now they have let the quad timing go slightly, and the Pent timing kind of drift with some late pickups, which does mean that there's going to be a load more time on the quad without the Pent. We'll assume Pampu knows and won't shoot themselves like last time. Very nicely done. The swing though in the last quad. Since the last quad we had a 25 frag lead for SN. For the Brazilians, and now DB has the 15 frag lead-ish. Who had Ring? I keep forgetting Ring's up. Because it comes up the same time as Pent and then Quad, so you never get teleported to somebody with Ring by the auto tracker. And obviously they're invisible, so you don't see them and go, oh, I'll go see what they're up to. Here we go though. SN have picked up the quad. Can they make use of it? Supreme was fairly well stacked going into the quad, but it's taken a few shots of spam rockets. Goes down fairly easily. A decent quad in terms of pushing a little bit of control. Was able to push a couple of players out of the Cathedral. But will SN have retained control over there? DB currently has had the red armor. Apologies for yawns. Had the red armor for the last little while. 3 minutes remaining, 15 frags the difference. Absolutely doable. 10 seconds until this quad's up. Quan's in there early. Looking to try and make it. We still have that split between the top half and the bottom half on DB. Just gets larger. SN staying pretty equal. Will Quan be able to close that gap somewhat with this quad? Good run so far. Like I said, not too many runs coming out from either team recently, unless they've managed to pick up Pent at the same time. Quan goes down, but does do a good job. Does do a decent job, and that should secure the tower area for DB. Nice shot there from Arnolaus. Just boom, one in. Let's get out of there. And just keeping absolute control. It makes sense. 2 minutes left on the clock. What's the frag difference going to be when it ticks over? 18 frags. Absolutely right now makes sense to just lock down that very defensive position in the cathedral, or in the church, sorry. Makes a lot of sense. Quad taken by Pampu. That is really good news for DB. They might lose it pretty quick, and I think they lose more frags in that area. But right now, minute and a half left to go. Make sure that the quad doesn't get out, or that you have it. But if you can stop the quad getting out, doesn't matter who picks it up, that's good. That's good on your side. Lose the one frag because you've run in, grab it and die, or just completely go and bomb the quad spot. 200 frags coming up, 1 minute left to go. It is tight. It's going to be really difficult for SN to get back into this. They have to get 22 frags. A minute. Absolutely not happening. DB with not a major comeback. 25 frags, I think, was the furthest that the difference ran out. They've now ran it out to that same 25 frags. So they will take map number 1. But that's okay. It was a close game. And these two teams are going to do battle across a lot of maps, I think. Surely we go... There's no way this is a full stomp. It would be such a shame. It's probably foreshadowing, you know. There we go. End of map number 1. 211 to 143. Pampu and Arnolaus smash it to bits at the top with 66 and 62 frags respectively. Very well played from both teams. Playing well as teams. We'll see what next map we end up on. We are swapping server, I think, because we're playing with such high ping differences. So we'll see where we're off to next and what map we're off to. Here we go, map number 2, we are on DM3. We have, yet again, DB, Deathbound versus Seleção, Nordeste, Brazil, SN. We are off, map number 2. DM3, very different to the first map of Schloss in the way that it plays, but I think this might favour DB a little bit more than Schloss did. Just the way that SN played, I don't know if they were playing it just because it was Schloss and that's how you play it more. Played very much as a pack, as a team. Always in, if they're pushing into somewhere, they were pushing into one place. Why is my explosions massively changed? I only changed the FPS. Very nice. Good shot around the corner. But yeah, I think this might suit DB, this map. It's more of a roamers map and then you turn up at the right place, which is how DB were playing before. You got sort of 4 individual guys relaying information back to each other because there's so many different places to hold. There's no strong points in this game, in this map, with huge amounts of resources that you want to just hold on to, like there is on certain other maps, and especially Schloss. So you just kind of float around. You leave somebody in red room, of course, if you can, but it's much harder to control and take reds like that. Whereas, because of the entrances and despite being up in the air, you don't really have that much of a height advantage. Like, you don't, for some reason, the way the circles work and the rings going up and up and up, you don't really have the height advantage. 2 minutes in, we have a 4 frag advantage to DB. Coming up on this next quad. Overrun's going to take it. Has a nail gun, which it usually isn't that powerful, but even a regular nail gun can be pretty powerful with the quad. Wants to take this rocket launcher. Very good dodging there from Fluarty. Nice rocket shot. Doesn't do enough damage. Shooting around. Could pull out the quad. Could pull out the quad nail gun. Worn off. Fluarty so low, just about manages to make it through that without dying. Pampu up top, very well stacked. Overon will not know how stacked Pampu was there. And Supreme holding this out with a very nice stack. And now with some armour, should be able to come in here and take advantage of it over on the quad. Yeah, okay, why are the explosions looking so weird now? I genuinely just rolled my FPS in half so that I could not overheat my room too much. Nice take on that. Good movement up top. We sometimes see people struggle with that movement for some reason, even in like Div 1. Playing this for 30 years, how have you not worked out the movement? I mean, I can say that I purely play movement modes. 10 frag gap right now. Nice telefrag there from Quan. Not sure if it was entirely intended or not. Oh no, it was it wasn't the teleporter that he would have gone through. It would have been the spawn point. So entirely not intended. We'll go with there. And now SN pushing this one. I was definitely completely wrong about how they were playing. They have just played to the strengths of each map. And they're playing much more wide. If we look down in the bottom corner, we've got a very nice set of weapons on SN. And absolutely nothing on DB, although Quan has just picked up the red. Cal running a bit low. DB, they've picked up another red, so have they got control of that red room at the minute? I haven't seen anybody from SN going into the red room particularly. But they don't seem to be able to take the rocket, which is interesting as well, because it doesn't seem like SN has the rocket launcher incredibly captured. Who's going to take this pent coming up? Pampu's got it. Okay, this is possible comeback time. When is the quad? Will it overlap enough? Just going to get out of there because the quad's coming up. You've got to get across to it. Take the LG. Hey, use it in the water. Just blow everybody up. Go on. No one willing to jump into the water with an LG and a pent. Nicely done. Char goes down with the ring. And the pent is over. What happened to quad? There should have been a quad somewhere in the middle of that, surely. Okay, slightly confused. But, alright. Quad's up in 15 seconds then. Quad might have just got nuked. I'm not sure. Might have come up and not seen it, just got nuked. Here we go for the fight. Looks like SN's going to take it. Pampu gets in, steals it, goes down immediately. That's not bad for DB. They would have obviously preferred to get the quad out, but they had a particularly weak showing on the pent, so they'll be happy to take the quad and at least deny it, because SN had a lot of players there. If they'd got that pent, they would have almost certainly managed to get it out. So Pampu managing to get in, going down straight away, that's a small win. Small wins for DB. Also, Hydrainer. How are we doing? Into the red room. Everybody's there. Not really got much of a chance with the rocket launcher from down below. Hard to shoot up. Hard to shoot down, but also hard to shoot up. Pushing in can be difficult. SN seem to be holding control of this yellow at the minute. Of course, it is something. But it's kind of in an awkward place, this yellow. It's in a place that people come through. Quad down. So the yellow, you know, being a rotational room, and if you're standing in the wrong place, you can get telefragged and or spawn fragged. Say spawn telefragged. Almost on double the frags now. SN pushing themselves away with this one. They'll definitely want to take this map after losing the last. This, of course, their pick. Picks back and forth between different players, different teams. Whoever lost picks the next. Quad's up. Overrun's got it. Finds Quan. This could be very big. To take... If they can take up to double off of the back of this quad before the halfway mark... Of course, it can all swing. This is the sort of game where things can swing that far away from each other in the second half. But it'll be tough for DB to come back. The second half, if you're coming back, is not as long as the first. In theory, I've said it a million times, if they can do it to you in the first half, you can do it to them in the second. But that doesn't work quite so well. Well, it definitely doesn't work in the higher divs, but it doesn't work quite so well anywhere in 4-on-4 because it's so much easier to just run and hide. You've only really got 8 minutes to be able to bring it back, so if DB can't get a handle on this in this last quad... there is one more quad actually. No, it doesn't do much. I was going to say last quad of the 10 minutes. But yeah, it doesn't do too much, and now SN have the upper hand. They're not worried about the quad. They'll have ran away, they'll have got out the way, worrying that the quad could come through and just sweep them out. But now they're just waiting around. Overrun's not going to take this red, give it to a teammate who needs it. Will take it in the end. Got to get out of there. The pent's coming up. It's not as OP as you think. It seems OP just shooting straight down on red, but it's hard to shoot down from as it is to shoot up from. You don't have that kind of advantage. Pampu taking this again. Quad is up in 3 seconds, but he's not going to be able to get across to quad in time for it to come up. So who's going to take that? Supreme on SN has managed to pick up the quad, so now can Pampu find Supreme? That's kind of, I'd say, Pampu's main thing, to try and find Supreme before this pent wears out. If he can get there, fine, can hear him, goes in, gets it. Quad does a lot of damage, of course, before going down, but hey, Pampu managing to find that quad, cut it about in half, I would think, the length of that quad. And that's a good pent. Got like 2 kills, but one of them was on quad. So good pent. Of course, pent is always good because it can't be nuked. But yeah, pent down. Quad up again in 10 seconds. Comes around so incredibly quickly. Red for Pampu. Who's picked up the quad? Not sure. Goes straight down. I think possibly Char. The worrying messages you get when your computer says that this device has limited network connectivity. Hopefully that's just the form where it can't make any new connections rather than the stream going down. Cow with an absolute mega backpack here. Picks up a rocket and has 100 rockets already. 86 LG as well. Great shots with the rocket launcher. Defending this quad super early. There is the chance that it gets swept in. Defending super early like this, it could get swept in, but with enough players with rocket launchers shooting shots at every single entrance, there was no way anyone was going to get through. Nice shot there from onto Fluati. This is where I think you can really seal the game. I mean, they're looking for double here. They're looking again to double the points. DB had a chance to come back. They got the quad. They didn't quite run with it. And now SN has managed to pile on the pressure. They've played it really well between quads, but every quad they've got, if it's got out, they've really made it count. There's been no kind of strategic quads, I want to call them, from SN. Whereas quite a lot of the ones that have got out from DB have been low fragging, take control of an area because nobody wants to challenge the quad. But yeah, it's not been quite as good of a showing as I was thinking from DB after the way they played last map, in such a way that I'd have thought benefit them on this map. Just the style of gameplay they were pulling off. But it shows that SN can do it both ways. They can play the holding down positions as a 4-stack in a corner play that you see on Schloss, and they can do it. Well, they didn't win that one, but they played very well and pushed DB to the final. But they can absolutely dominate this style as well. Char holding this quad very early again. Seems to be their way of getting into it. Whereas DB knows that they're out of control, so they're turning up late. Great shot there from Fluatity. A trade Char and Fluatity between them. Great fragging. Really terrible spawns here from DB right now. As Cow holds onto this rocket launcher. Picks it up. 54 rockets in the bank when you pick that up. That's one way to do it, isn't it? Hiding out in this yellow room. Certainly won't do you bad, having an extra yellow. Now with pent up in 8 seconds. The only possible chance, I don't even think that this would do it, but if DB gets this pent, they might have a chance, but SN's managed to take it. Cow's got it. Heading over to the quad, trying for the rockets up, not making it. Quad will probably fall to somebody else. It does indeed go to Quan. Let's go over to Quan, because this is the more important fight, I would say. Quan goes straight down as soon as I get on him. Oops, sorry. Back to Cow then. Char has the ring, so he's hanging around being a nuisance. Let's head over to Char. There we go. Okay, ring's expired. Getting there a little late from everything. But yeah, really well played there from Cow, knowing that he was going to be late to get to Quan, or get to the quad, and then Quan was picking that up, and to just find Quan and make the frag. We now have over double the difference. The comeback, pretty much impossible at this point. 4 minutes left on the clock. 100 frags to overcome. Not looking good. Hopefully DB can salvage something from this. A good quad run towards the end. It's all about the mental, all about the belief in yourself to be able to beat them. You had such a good game last time, lads. You came back, you held it tight. It went one way, it went the other way. Just swings of 25. This game looked like it was going to be something like that. You brought it back somewhat, and then it just went. And SN have played a perfect game since. They haven't really had any ways for DB to get in. DB would have had to have made an exemplary play to get back into this game, and they just haven't really had that on their side since the 8-minute mark, I want to say. They've tried. They've got quads. They've had quads. They've played well into the quads and into the pent. They were definitely there. It wasn't a guarantee that SN took the pent. Pent, of course, a little bit of a crapshoot who takes it. Can be as well with the quad, but you can't just blow up the pent, being complete invulnerability, whereas Fluidity manages to get in there, overruns there, blows it up. You're perfectly fine with that. You can just smash rockets straight onto it. Supreme looking pretty good other than the health status, and in a good place to get some more health if you can get up top and take that mega, which might be up. Nice rocket. Apologies again for anybody new who doesn't know that I just yawn constantly. I'm very eepy. Great rocket there. Straight drop down. Picks up the red with little extra given, to be honest. Arnolaus decides not to drop down. Probably a bad choice in the end. Respawn's unfortunate. Cal gets Arnolaus and Supreme gets Cal. Not really the way they would have wanted. Pampu, don't think he realised he was about to pick up the pent there. Sorry, the quad. Picks it up, blows himself straight up with the rocket. Now, if DB can bring this back to under the halfway mark, they might have salvaged something from this, but at the minute it's stabilised a little bit, but it's stabilised at that double, at that 2-to-1 ratio, which is not a good place for it to stabilise. But there were a couple of minutes where it was going out 4-to-1, and that's really not good. We'll watch for the final minute as a very well stacked up Supreme should be able to take this quad unless 3 DB players come around the corner, but at the minute I can just see them dying up in the chat, so I don't think they're going to be able to take on this quad particularly. Supreme will be able to get out with it, heads over to try and fight for the red, and we'll just probably go frag chasing, I would imagine. If you can pick up this red spawning in a couple of seconds, should see it, there he is. Decides to hold on to the red area. There won't be another red, so there's not really much point. But you can get a few frags, I suppose. There's a couple of people come in. 6 seconds left on the clock. Congratulations to SN. Taking the second map. Tying the game up. And we'll see where we're off to next. Very well played. Very even between both teams as well. Individual players. Overrun getting so many extra quads. And getting very nice frag score. Yeah, let's see what map we are onto for our third map. Here we go again then. E1 M2 map number 3 of this series. Possibly map number 3 of this game if you count Q-Test as a map. Or the start.bsp, I guess. Technically the third map. Explosion's still looking slightly funny, not sure what happened there. But yeah, this map. One of those strange oddities of the older games where we play a map built for single player completely in 4v4. This map, very little health, so it plays very differently to a lot of maps. You end up fighting over a green armor sometimes, because the best armor is a yellow. And even that yellow, a bit out of the way, not the great control for the yellow, but that's all you're there for. You're not really taking a position on the map, because it's out of the way somewhat. With the map being a point-to-point, not really looping round. First quad coming up. There it is. And straight down. really difficult to get a quad out of that box, as you can probably see. And then there's the rocket down below. That's the housekeeping within the first 2 minutes of the game. For anybody new who hasn't seen this map potentially before. Also some cool underwatery bits, but no LG to worry about. Super even on the scoreboard at this point in time. Cal with the rocket launcher, not much rocket ammo. I'd expect this map between these two... Yeah, I'm going to make one of those predictions that'll probably be wrong like the last time. I'd expect this map to not have the ridiculous amount of rocket ammo that you sometimes can see on this map. I think it's going to be a very... Not many people have rockets and not many people have ammo for those rockets. But we'll see. Could all be different. I want to lay us on a quad though. Let's see what we can do with it. Boomstick very powerful on this map. Kind of straight corridors, but quite short straight corridors. So maximum distance boomstick still does a lot of damage. And of course not that many weapons. But it also lends itself to the nail guns that are on this map. In a kind of strange way of... Quite a lot of people will only have a nail gun, unless you're Overrun, in which case you've got every weapon on the map. But yeah, quite a lot of people will only have a nail gun, and yet the map is just about right that you can force a proper nail gun fight. Great work there from, that would have been Pampu, knocking down that quad. Yeah, these guys aim well. This might be the bottom division, but bottom division is still very, very good in this game. Anyone who plays is pretty damn good compared to anyone else. It's a feisty world when you've got 30 years of experience to battle against. But also 30 years of people to teach you how to play the game. So people get good at this game quick. Do not be afraid if you've managed to get this far into this video or this stream. Do not be afraid to join. There are beginner matches that happen. People will teach you to play. This match staying pretty close. SN just slightly ahead. Deathbound running a bit behind. Yeah, community's very welcoming. They know... They've been through, from what I've heard, the elitism, we're the best phase. No, they're still in the we're the best phase. Always will be. The original Quake. I mean, they're not going to get rid of that. But the we don't want anyone new kind of phase died off when the old servers started to shut down and Quake was kind of the only way to play. And from then on, it's been very welcoming, as from what I've heard. New players, you got to know when your game only has community support and the developers aren't supporting it or advertising it. You have to be the ones to show new players how to play, especially when you've got a hard game like this. And the Quake World community does a fantastic job at organising things. Oldest game, only one with consistent tournaments, which is why I'm here, because I love commentating. So I'm doing a terrible job of it at the minute. A lot of good stuff going on. Right now we're seeing some good stack. SN having 2 rocket launchers, a super shotgun and a grenade launcher. Meanwhile, DB have pretty much nothing on their side. Just a bunch of fresh spawns and Fluartity with some yellow. Fluartity will be who they're defending and trying to get a weapon to at the minute. Only 14 frag difference right now. This next quad coming up, and SN in the best place to take it. They've got 4 guys protecting it, getting a body shield around it. They do not want this thing to get nuked out of existence straight away. They want to take it and use it on this run. Such a difficult quad to get out of its spawn point. And now they've got it out, they've got to do some damage with it. Can still be difficult to do damage though. A map that doesn't loop around, it's difficult to catch people off guard, but if they're going to spawn right into you, you're going to take some frags. Very nicely done there from Supreme. Boomsticking it all the way. Gets Quan with 1 shot with the boomstick. Doesn't quite take him down with that. But that's enough to just take the 2nd shot without the quad. And the frag goes. 90 to 67. It's still a close game. 23 frags seems like a lot, but could absolutely swing. This map much more about the difference between the quads, more than it is about the quads. With most of the quads, you know, I'm saying it as we see a second quad run in a row, but with most of the quads just getting bombed straight out of existence, with there not being a lot of health and ammo on the field. It does look like we're seeing what I said, with not so many people having rocket launchers, and even if they do, not having so much ammo, but there does look to be a mega pack going around, which is where all the ammo seems to concentrate into one player, and then that pack has like 50-60 ammo in it. That's hovering around at the minute. Currently Overrun's got it. Quad's up and they've been delayed or been forgotten. Supreme's got it again and it's getting on a quad run. This is not good news for DB. The fact that they're letting these quads get away is worrying, to be fair, for their future success in this map. They're not letting them do super huge amount of damage. Over and spamming out your own teammate, not great there. But yeah, it's not good for DB that they're letting these go. They're getting absolutely shut down on the push in to try and take the yellow room. 4 guys going down to Overrun with this rocket launcher and the mega pack. Now has the yellow. Start roaming. Quad coming up in 10 seconds. DB have got to, realistically, they've got to get this quad, but at the very least, they've got to stop SN from getting out with the quad, and they have managed to get the quad, and they've got out with it somewhat. Fluartity manages to take a frag, but then goes down. So not bad. DB did more than the bare minimum. The bare minimum was to make sure that the quad didn't escape, but they managed to get in. They managed to make all the frags that they needed as well, which is quite good for them. So they're bringing it back a little bit. But they did sacrifice a lot in terms of positioning, I think, outside of that quad. And when the quad didn't survive long enough to get any of it back, could be worrying for the next 20 seconds until the next fight happens. Ten minutes remaining. 45 frags difference. SN leads. They're absolutely still well within comeback for DB. Quads up, spawns. Fluartity's got it. Runs out, trying to find some health, some armor, some anything. Fighting players on the back. Has got a shotgun. The grenade launcher not too bad. I think Fluartity's just going to let the yellow go. There's no need to really take it. Yeah. Not enough health on the quad to really make a fight. Nice work there from whoever just dropped down. Supreme taking out Fluartity right at the end of the quad damage anyway, so Fluartity not too bad with being taken out by that. Chart trying to get away from Pampu. 40 frags the difference. So 5 frags have been brought back. That's not too bad. Quad coming up now. DB in a good position. Getting blown up though. Lots of frags going down on Leus with some amazing aim. Takes a couple of frags. He's got the mega pack as well. So this could be the start of a comeback. But Arnolaus will want this yellow coming up in 3 seconds. This is a dangerous Arnolaus right now. What can a reasonably stacked Arnolaus with a quad pull off? Got to make sure you control that yellow room. So before going out, leave a teammate on the yellow. That's a good play. I like Arnolaus' movement here. Constantly watching the health. Goes back every time. Loses a bit of health but goes and finds one. There's a lot of health on this map. There's nothing to sort of overstack you. Nothing to get you prepared for a fight. But after a fight, there's a lot of health to get you picked back up. That's because it's an early campaign map. But also, this map works really well in regular deathmatch because of the amount of health. Maps with a lot of powerful items don't tend to work so well in deathmatch, but they work better in TDM because there's places to control, there's obvious places for teams to group around, whereas in deathmatch you don't want that. Arnolaus on the quad could have picked up that green, would have probably been better, but decides that just a couple of bits of yellow is perfectly fine for him. Again, still picking up those little healths, just doing a nice job of it. Holding out, Arnolaus hasn't been down in a while, which is really good. Like, surviving is a massively overlooked part of every game, I think. I remember it when I was first trying to learn Dota, like 15 years ago. Not dying is more important than getting the enemy frag, run away, and survive. Now there's light spawn time in this game, but obviously in Dota you're losing a lot more by respawning and having to run back and all of that. But in this, that's your actual score. By not dying, the opponent doesn't score. Supreme now on the quad. They brought it back to 20 frag difference with the last couple of quads. Will Supreme be able to push this one? No is the answer. Gets a few frags, but not too many. And the damage keeps coming out from DB. They're making good moves. Great shooting there from Overrun though. DB will be for sure wanting to take this one. To lose 2 in a row, the momentum that SN will have winning this one will be really good. But being on the back foot with 6 minutes left to go, if DB are able to come back into this and take it, their momentum will be high heading into the next map as well. Overrun with the quad and the mega pack. Looking down at that side, it is a very good stack up. You got the one fresh spawn of Char who's just gone down. Everybody else has a rocket launcher and a little bit of armor or extra health. So right now SN looking at themselves to seal this game, kind of, or at least melt the wax to be able to seal the game and heat up their stamp, their wax press stamp. Next quad coming up. They've got a good position on it of SN. But DB are getting into a decent place. Just a little bit too late. Supreme's managed to pick it up and go on an absolute tear. What a frag fest from this quad. Everybody spawning within the sights of that double-barreled super shotgun. Oh. The thought of the id developers when they said, the shotgun's cool. Or if we had 2 of them stuck together with sticky tape. And then they put it into Doom 2, and then it got put into Quake. And when they did it in Quake, they gave us a 4 times quad damage. And I don't think there's any better feeling than what's just happened to Supreme there. Absolute magic. with a super shotgun. Puts them nearly 50 frags ahead, going from 40 odd frags ahead to 20 frags ahead with a great push from a couple of quads from DB, but then to go straight back out with one quad to 50 frags ahead. That wax seal is heated up with SN's stamp on it. Can DB pull this back? There is a chance, of course. They would have to get very lucky. SN's got the luck, though, with that previous frag fest from Supreme. But it's definitely possible to come back into this, even with 3 minutes left to go. SN will probably play much more defensive now. They're just going to hold around this yellow armor and try to keep it safe. They've all got armor on the SN team. And it doesn't look like they're going to let DB in anywhere if they can help it. But they will have to go out, and this is where things change. Because this quad needs fighting for. You have to send at least a couple of guys in to fight for the quad. Don't necessarily have to take it, but just have to make sure it doesn't get out for the enemy team. But it looks like they can't quite frag Overrun. And Overrun's going to get out with the quad. This is really bad news. This is pretty much the end of it for DB in this moment. They surely will struggle to come back from this one. Frag difference quite large, and an extra quad going the way of the opponent. They really needed the quad to go their way, but for the team to take it and actually get out with it, it didn't look like it was going to go that way. But just a bit of, like, SN have had the run of the balls on this, to use a snooker and pool phrase. Had the, it's the luck that you make your own luck kind of thing. If you're playing too defensively, luck doesn't happen to you. You have to give luck a chance. There is still time, but SN's just taken a pretty much free quad. DB weren't really in a position to take it by how much stack they've got and how many fresh spawns they have. SN also with a few fresh spawns with not too much on their backs, but SN won't really mind too much. They don't need to do damage. They need to defend for this last minute and a half of the game. And they'll be happy with what they've got to be able to do that with. Good shooting here from Chart. Racks up a few more frags as we enter the final minute in just 5 seconds time. Final quad will be a sight to behold. It's going to come up in full desperation time, you see. Good shooting here from Chart. Absolutely defends this quad. Doesn't mind going down if he does. Takes 2 frags with him. And that should seal it up. Huge gap in the score, but it was so close up until that incredible set of frags from Supreme. And just a good bit of control from SN. They didn't lose anything for a while, and they were able to just pull out. DB brought it back, but it wasn't enough. They were only able to bring it back to close, and SN made their own luck. They made it up. They go 2 maps up in this. DB, they need a reverse sweep, I believe. Here we are then. It is 2-1 to SMB versus Deathbound, Seleção, Nordeste, Brazil. Send your pronunciations somewhere. First quad over onto Fluidity. Who's going to stop them from taking the Penta quad? That's not a good play from either. Well, neither team particularly had anything there. Char very well stacked up, doing a great job at running away. Yeah, it was a brilliant job of Char to get away with that red. And I think a Mega possibly, looking at the way the health went down. Fluidity playing well around the quad. Once any item we can get for after this Pence ran out, Could do with a little bit of health. Or a little bit of armour. But that first pentaquad going through, not doing as much damage as you'd think. And with the way this map's laid out, it would be difficult to take too much control by playing around that first pent quad. Which is good because the chances of it happening. Yeah. Supreme now with the quad. So, like I said, DB taking the pentaquad, not managing to get much map control out of it. While everybody was spread out, trying to find ammo, trying to find weapons and such. Now Supreme goes on a little bit of a tear. Around the back, finds Pampu. Decently well stacked, wants to find the frag before the quad runs out. 2 shots down, finds 2 more. Now SN's racked up a little bit of a lead. Pampu's playing it incredibly cautiously, trying to take some of the heat off of Quan there, I think. Quan was running away from Supreme while Pampu ran in, sort of direct attack. An up-close shotgun, very, very powerful in this. Fluidity with the quad. Nothing much to say for it. Does pick up a rocket launcher. That'll be a good place to start. Gonna hide around with this quad. No need to rush with it. If people come to you, you'll find them, you'll get the frags. But at this stage in the game, no need to rush around with the quad, no need to make any silly decisions with it. 3 rocket launchers on Deathbound right now. Char looking strong with this LG. Shoots Fluidity, goes flying through the air. He wants to take this red, but Char predicts it. In the right place, doesn't chase. Just sets out the stall with the LG. Remember, this is match point now for SNB. DB have got to take this one. They'll push them close, I'm sure. They played really well that last map on E1M2. Nicely done. Good LG usage. What's up, Looney? Onto this quad, very early to the quad fight. So actually just a coming together of 2 teams. No quad fight really, 15 seconds still till the quad falls. Falls? Spawns. Game is currently a tie as the time ticks over to 16 minutes remaining. I think that is the first time I've ever seen that message. An exact tie as the second ticks over and the chat is spent. Pampu stacked right now with a quad, but can't find anybody to shoot at. Gets even more stacked. Now that quad felt delayed, I'm thinking. So it's going to be... But how much was the pent delayed right at the start of the map? Because the pent was taken second on that first spawn of the pent. So the next time we do have a quad pent opportunity. This map, very interesting. Okay, so they're up half a second apart from each other. We're either going to see a team completely dominate this entire middle figure 8 section, or we're going to see one team on either side, one getting the pent, one getting the quad. Where's the quad gone? We do indeed see one getting the quad, one getting the pent, but Quan goes down. Great hunt there from Cow. You want the pent. The pent is better. In terms of rock, paper, scissors of it, the quad beats the eyes because you can accidentally kill the eyes. The eyes beats the pent because they can hide. And the pent beats the quad because they're invulnerable. Cow with a lot of rockets and a decent amount of cells to use. Only going to use those when needed in these up close battles. They do run out pretty quick. But on this map, the LG's up. It's in a bit of an awkward position. And it's there's a lot of ammo hanging around, a lot of cell ammo hanging around. So you often see people running around with a lot of cell ammo but no LG, and those backpacks can be very valuable and stacked up. So sometimes when somebody gets the LG, they'll be looking for any backpacks. They'll either have a backpack themselves already, or they might be just looking for any backpacks thinking someone might have swept up a few LG ammo, because there's a few in, you know, your normal cycles that you might just pick up by mistake without trying. Like, people will just pick that massive cell ammo up just for the sake of it. Hold it around for this quad. Arnelaus completely uncontested right now. Gets the quad. Nobody there from SN. Where they all are, I'm not sure, but right now they have lost control of this map. Pampu, 200 stack on the armour. Fluartity's got a yellow. Arnelaus has got a green and the quad and a rocket launcher. 3 rocket launchers over on DB. Absolutely nothing on SN right now. This is where DB can probably, I honestly say in the next 30 seconds, DB could take a lead in this. A proper good lead, rather than just bringing it back to a tied game like they have done now. Pretty close to tied. Interesting what happened to SN. I'm not quite sure, really. I didn't see, you know, huge amount of death or losing a major item or anything like that as the cause. Just sort of a slow, controlled loss. And the scoreboard hasn't swung more than 15, I think, to get us to this point. So very interesting. But DB now looking to take control of this map. They need to. They need to win the next 2 maps, of course, to take this medal. To take the gold medal. Otherwise, they'll be taking the silver gold medal. Or the gold silver medal. Good rocket work there. Using the floor to knock your opponent up into the air to stunt their movement. Nice shooting there from Fluartity. Arnelaus in position, takes the quad, has the rockets, has the super shotgun as well. Ooh, nice shot there from Cow. Neutralises that quad pretty early on when it was in a weak position, but getting ready to take a very strong position. From these sewer tunnels you can get to a lot of very powerful items. And so, yeah. Was a very dangerous quad at play if he could have got out of that sewer. Pampu stacking up around the secret items and the little bits around the back. Has the LG, takes out a teammate, that's unfortunate, but manages to get the frag. Cow with the red, looking strong on this quad. Pent up as well. Pent going to come up first, of course. Now things a little bit more evened out. Fluartity gets the Pent and nobody's there to stop him from taking the quad. That's how you really want to take it. And they've kept it very smooth. Ring coming up as well. Is Fluartity going to take the ring? No. Overon takes the ring. That would have been, I think, the first time I've ever seen that combo. Oh no, I've seen it one time before. Pence over, quad over now. Great run from Fluartity. 6 frags in the lead now. We're in the second half of this game. And it's a tough game. Big explosion. Supreme goes down. Hovering over this quad. Delaying it slightly. An interesting one. Possibly seeing if there was a better candidate to take it. Fluidity didn't have the greatest stack to be able to take that one. So would have preferred a teammate with potentially any weapon to take it. Goes down though. But it was a strong shine of force. And they did get a few frags in the process of taking the quad, so not that bad. On board with Pampu with a very good stack, fully stacked up on rockets, and with an LG with a good amount of cells in it. The super pack has been getting passed around between various players this last game. 10 frags are in it, there's not much. DB leads just by a little bit as this next quad comes up. Good rockets. They take down the big danger there. And the quad gets immediately nuked by whoever picked it up. Quad looking strong. Again, we look down to the side. We see 3 rockets on DB. We see some ammo. We see some armour. We see 4 rockets right now against a bunch of fresh spawns on SN. This is dangerous for SN. This is more dangerous than losing a pent quad, honestly. To be down like this with no weapons and your opponents have armour and weapons on every member of their team. This is where the real frags are made, because if everyone on your team has just said, I've got a rocket launcher, I'm doing well, I'm going to frag, the whole team's there, you can really push. You can be confident that nothing's going to get lost. Whereas when you've got one player that's very well stacked, you're looking around going, oh, well, if that guy dies, then we've kind of lost. Lost a lot. But yeah. The scoreboard drifts outwards in the way of Deathbringers. Deathbringers, Deathbound. I don't know why I keep calling them Deathbringers. They are bringing the death right now to the SN team. See, it can be mildly humorous. Good frag on Supreme. Dancing around with this armour. You want to take it, you want to get over to the quad. They're early on quad, but that's fine. Fluatity's going to take this red and then probably try and rush to quad now. No, stays actually. Surprised by that. Would have thought Fluatity would have rushed over to this quad to try and help the push on it. But Pampu takes it, so no problem there. Sitting pretty low health-wise, but that's not too much of a problem. Since they have the lead especially, Pampu can put himself in whatever position they want. They don't have to try and take fights like here. Get out of there, don't worry about it. Just run away. Run away, scoop up some health, and try to be in a good position for the next fight. Because Pent's coming up. This will be very important. If DB take this last Pent, we can pretty much guarantee SN's not coming back. But if SN takes it like they have, and will they be able to get the Pentaquad onto Cow? Very well stacked up. If Cow can get out of it, gets him frags absolutely left, right and centre. Don't worry about fragging the teammates. Take everybody down. DB down to fresh spawns. They're running around. DB will be best to slow down now. They know that the Pentaquad's running around dangerously. And they've all been taken out, so they'll slow down somewhat. But look, they've still got 2. They've got the ring on Fluatity, actually. they've still got 2 rockets. Like I said, the ring is very powerful in beating Pence, because you can't shoot at what you can't see. So if you can just hold off and know that the pentaquad is too dangerous for you, you probably get away with surviving. Nice shot there from Char onto Quan, up in the air. Quad in 3 seconds, Arnolaus is in position. Raining down damage, Quan's the one that's going to take it with no health, no ammo. Not in a great position to really take it, but definitely helps. They've got somewhat of a lead. That last quad pent run from SN has put them back into this game with 3.5 minutes left to go. It's pretty close. We could be going to a final map decider. But there's every chance that SN is able to take this map. Come back into it. They're not far off. That's for sure. A little bit of delay on that quad. We'll be coming up at 15 seconds past. And there they are. DB's managed to pick it up. This they should be able to use to seal the deal on this map and take us to a final decider. 2.5 minutes left to go. Quan on a tear. Good health. Not much in the way of ammo. Runs into Overon, who's got the LG, but immediately burns out on LG. Must have just had the LG pickup and no ammo. Cow comes back around the corner. Nice fragging there from Quan. Uses that quad very, very well towards the end of this game. It's still not completely over. 23 frags the difference at the minute. It's going to be tough, but if SN played that last quad where they lost the quad and were able to keep the difference in frags the same, if they can take this quad, which they look very well out to do, they're getting good frags in as well, bringing it slowly back somewhat. DB takes it, Arnolaus goes down with the quad. But that's good for DB. DB very happy with that, because, yeah, the way that SN was playing just before that quad, had they got it and got out, I think they would have got a lot of frags with it. Fuati playing very aggressively with only 10 health left. I think trying to fake a retreat there almost. Knowing that you've got the score lead with just over a minute left to go. Yeah, you can try and fake that score lead very nicely. Looking at Quan playing very defensively as well. Quad in 15 seconds. Will DB even try to gather at the quad? They will. They will go for it, and Quan in a brilliant position to take this quad. SN completely out of position. They come in at the last second. They're rushing it. They're trying to get it. Pampu's managed to take the final quad. That is not good for SN. Guaranteed, basically, we are going to a deciding final map. You don't get that in Div 1. "20 seconds left. Pampu shooting some shots. Try and take out Cow with the red before the quad goes down. Managed to do it. 3 seconds left, and we have the final map decided. DB takes it. Nice score from Pampu, 69 frags. And the whole team doing very, very well. So what map will we be going to for our decider? You might know, I've forgotten the map pool. We are going to DM2. Of course we are. DM2. The final map decider to decide who wins Division 3 in TB4+1 Season 2. We have SN versus DB. We're on DM2 for the final map. I forgot to change the map scores. Ah! Quad goes to Arnelaus. DB take an early lead. This map, the swingiest of all the maps. We've seen some pretty big swings between players on this series. But this, probably the biggest map in this map pool for maps to go all the way one way and then for a comeback to occur. Taking control of this red mega and rocket room, very, very important. Good shot there from Quan. Quan stacked up, will want to get across to this quad as soon as possible. DB have put their name on this quad, and there it is. Quan taking it. The boomstick going to be the only thing he's got. Not much ammo hanging around at the minute. But just to take this red and mega area as well as the rocket launcher area, that'll be good enough from this quad. Frags can come later. But right now, if they can take control, early control over this. But even with the quad, somehow Quan losing control of that area. Very interesting. Does get in and take that. Someone goes down. Supreme dies to the lava. Unfortunate. Can be very difficult to get out of that lava. A lot easier to fall into it. Neither player can quite connect with the punches. Whoa, pinned to the corner. Quan goes down to Char. Very nicely played. Who's going to take this quad? Spawns up. Char's got it. Goes down very, very quickly. Good defense from DB. Losing that quad. They were in there very attacking. All players on the quad. So sometimes if that happens and you do end up losing the quad, you don't always have a way to defend and take the quad down. But the early advantage that DB were able to grab has disappeared. SN have control, despite Quan really. On that one, not sure how Quan didn't manage to push in with the quad to take this room when all SN had were shotguns. But Quan really not wanting to die, I think, was the main thing on that one. And if he pushed in, he would have gone down. So definitely better to lose the area than to die and lose the area anyway. 10 frags difference. Chart with no health left. Someone spawns right behind him. Lucky not to get telefragged, but still unlucky. You've only got 3 health left. He was looking for that mega up on top. Cow very well stacked up. Has a lot of rockets now. Now's the part of the game where most people are going to end up with rockets. This map has a lot of rockets hanging around. Everybody has weaponry. It's not a game of shotgun shooting for the most part. Now you'll be hanging around with a shotgun for bits of the map, of course. But there's a lot of chances to get weaponry on this. Unfortunately, some of them going down into the lava. Respawns. It feels like it's spawned closest to your opponent sometimes, but I promise it isn't. Quan picks up the quad. Not much on his back in the way of armor. Gonna try and push in aggressively into this lower rocket room. And try and take this round here. We'll move through. Nice work from Cow, holding on to that teleporter. Fires the rocket, then just pushes back through the teleporter. Drops down onto the yellow. Can't quite find Pampu there. Good work from Pampu dodging those shots. Keeps control of low RL. Despite spamming lost in chat. Supreme heavily stacked now. Pushing into this low RL, which is indeed in the hands of SN. The scores are tight though. neither team's massively had it, and by taking control of that lower rocket, if you want to keep it, you want to really like lock down control of it, it's pretty much the exact opposite end of the map to the quad. So you're kind of weak on quad. But now it's up to SN to hide. They just got to get out the way. Nice shot there from whoever that was, shooting a cross-map rocket. Lands on Arneleus. Arneleus now with the red. A little bit of health. But definitely wasted a lot of time with that quad. Barely any ammo left for Arneleus. Picks up a pack with a good amount of shotgun shells in it. Probably not what he wants. Has a rocket launcher. SN do have 2 rocket launchers. 2 rocket launchers each team, and Reds to boot. This map with a lot of health, but also a lot of deaths. Because between the helds, it's quite easy to go down with everybody having rocket launchers that can one-shot you. So normally you'd think, oh, look at that, everybody's got a red or a yellow. Pretty much except for 2 players. But also, most people have got a rocket launcher. So frags do happen. Not too many rockets in the backpack right now on Quan. Doesn't even pick any up in that pack. Well, the last 2 packs. Gets out of there. Trying to survive. Again, better to have your life than maybe an extra frag. Ooh, what a 180 onto Quan from Supreme. Supreme's had some absolutely amazing reflex shots in this game. It can be dangerous to have reflexes like that, of course, with the rocket launcher doing a lot of self-damage to you if you're right exploding it up close. Rockets dropping down left, right and centre. Fluartity with a great stack and the quad. This is a chance for DB to put their mark on this map and push it on. Great run. SN able to keep control over this section and keep the map from running away from them. Good rockets there from Shah. Onto the red, playing well, in a good position to be able to push this quad. They're pushing the DB back. Now quad should come up. Who's in position on it? Quad in position. Do SN have timing on the quad? They haven't really been there the last 2. They might be slightly out of phase with when quad's coming up. They'll need to get that back if they want to take this. They are doing well on the scoreboard between the quads. In a classic, you know, somehow quad can feel like it doesn't do much. And that all the frags come in between the quads. Which sometimes is the truth. But it's generally set up by a good play with the quad. And to get quad, you've got to have the sort of things, and you know, you can get 10 frags fighting for the positioning on the quad, so maybe a strategic play from SN. They don't lose too many frags to the quad, and they pick up quite a few of their own. Fluartity going down twice to Shah's grenades there. SN only 2 frags behind, and now Charge just picked up the quad. So they definitely do have timing on the quad now, and they are in position. Shah goes down to Quan's rocket, very nicely placed. We're nearing the halfway point. You can't separate these 2 teams. They have gone back and forth, but just in the same way that it was 2 maps. You know, DB took the first, SN took the second 2, and then DB took the third. Sorry, the fourth. To bring us to this tiebreaker. I don't think either player is going to have too much in the way of... either team is going to have too much in the way of good or bad feelings coming into this map. We're absolutely tied up. Come on, please be tied as we hit the 10-minute mark. They are indeed. 10 minutes remaining in the game is currently a tie. We are back to square one, effectively. But looking at the sidebar, it is just about DB, I would say, in control. 2 rocket launchers on each side. Slight bit more health and armor on DB. They've now managed to take this quad. Does go down without too much in the way of frags. Frag there from Cow. Holding this position is very important. Now look at that on SN. They are absolutely tanked. 3 rockets. 3 members with red armor. 1 member with full yellow armor. That's how you do it. That is how you do it. They should take this quad. I would be very, very surprised if DB gets this quad. And gets away with it, of course. There is every chance that DB manages to sneak in, snag the quad. But SN's managed to pick it up. That is not good for DB. SN picking it up guaranteed it was going to get out pretty much with the way that they had so much health, so much armor. Complete fresh spawns over on the DB side. This is the time where SN can make it count on the scoreboard. They are already 18 frags in the lead for the last 2 minutes. DB have pretty much picked up no frags. Where's it gone? They've had chances to take this, but they haven't been able to capitalise on those. SN have been playing so good on the defence. They've never lost all of their holds. They've always had something hanging around, which is just the best way to play out of control. 30 frags into the lead now. That is a big lead on this map. There's every chance they just maintain this. 33 frags the lead. Ooh. SN playing the last 2 minutes to perfection, really. 30 frags in 2 minutes is a lot. That is a lot of frags in 2 minutes. Now, a moment of calm. Nothing majors up for a little while. Each team has their strongholds and has their positioning, where they are and what they're doing. And really, we're just waiting for this next quad. Look how stacked both teams are right now. 2 rockets on each team. Multiple reds. Good play from both teams, taking down a few frags and making things happen over at this quad. Quad's up. Pampu's got it. Gets a good couple of frags. And that's good from Pampu. That's very good. You can't expect too much more in a situation like that where everybody heads into the quad fight completely stacked and there's 4 guys fighting over the quad exactly as it spawns. To get like 3 frags and then go down. Fantastic work from Pampu. Makes the most of that. But the lead stretches for SN as they come out of the quad fight with the better stack of armor. Seemingly, if their players respawned, they were respawning at the right time. Able to get across to some of the yellows. And they're holding this rocket launcher area so well. We saw SN go down and get wiped at that quad, and they've stacked back up straight away, got the rocket launchers going. DB are going to struggle with the rocket launcher low being taken by SN. Char now with the quad. This could be the play that seals this tournament. Blowing up Pampu, very nicely done. Big shots coming in. Char surviving all of them. So many rockets left in the pack. Just keep that left mouse button held down. Keep on firing. Another moment of quiet. Few scraps going on, but not too many players taking big fights. Great shooting there from Char. Look at that. Cow, Char, Fluarty going down. Supreme, almost undeterred, takes the quad. Probably going to go down in this corner, does indeed, but that's fine. SN absolutely happy with 5 minutes left on the clock and a lead like this. Perfectly happy to have the quad go down without much of a fight. So long as they're the ones getting it. Nice work there from Overon, just wasting your time. Patience can be everything in this. Holding this lower area as well. Good respawn here. Quad in 15 seconds. Cow up there very early. Wants to do damage. Wants to drop some small bits of damage down. The rockets come in from across the map from DB. They know that their opponents are in there. Supreme goes up, takes the quad, goes straight down to a couple of rockets. It's a good play when you look at the scoreboard as it popped up there. Supreme ended up being the only one from SN to go down. SN didn't put much into that fight for the quad. They are perfectly happy for every quad that continues to come up to fall immediately. That'll be their plan on every single quad from now on, I should think. That they'll be wanting... You know, we put one guy in there to try and take the quad, but that guy's pretty much on a suicide mission. If they take it, they're probably getting nuked by the enemy team. If they don't take it and they die, they're dead. And if they do take it, they still might get nuked by us. And if the opponent takes it, they're getting nuked. That's the best way to take it. Quan picks it up, manages to take a few frags, and boom. Supreme managed to get a pineapple up in the top. Very nicely done. SN playing this beautifully. They've got a 100 frag lead, 2.5 minutes left to go. He's looking heavily like SN will take this. Don't want to call it just yet. You know, curse the commentator and all that. But it has been a beautiful set of games, whichever way this end one goes. If there's a comeback now from 100 frags down, there'll be absolutely magical. Pampu would have to be the one leading the charge. Takes a frag there off of Char, who blows himself up with a rocket. Lots of things spawning right now. Supreme getting pinned to a wall. Couple of rockets. Cow in there. Makes a good move with the super shotgun. They hold down this position as well. That's what they've been doing best this entire game. They've been holding down that lower rocket room and being able to get into those reds and mega for free. Always stacked up. But now we see a moment of weakness for SN. It is only a minute and a half left on the clock. They know that they can play defensively. They know they can realistically play passively. Not having to engage in fights at all. Not really even having to turn up for this next quad if they don't fancy it. But they do not want to be caught by this current quad. Health and armor all over the place. Arneleus gets fragged by a teammate respawning. Don't stand on the spawn points. There's a frag movie called Don't Stand on the Spawn Points. It might be Quake World. Great shot there through the barrier onto Quan. Char's up in position to take the quad, so they will fight for the quad, but they take it with 25 seconds. Quan's already typing GG. They're just going to play shotgun fragging, I think, now. Quan knows that with the taking of the quad and over 100 frags to go, they weren't going to get it back, even if they tried, even if they got the quad. SN's still taking this all the way to the finish. Fantastic games, 5 map series. We absolutely love them. You don't get that in the Div 1 finals. I'm telling you. They just don't go all the way. And there it is, the final frags. We have 272. I didn't quite catch it because somebody left the game immediately after. But yeah, absolutely fantastic games. SNB takes it. I will get the proper name of that team. Get me out of here into a prettier position to call the frags. Let's go with that. That'll do. Yeah, here you go. They could all fight. We had Deathbound in second place. The fight for third place is between Snowflakes and 0 Day. But Seleção Nordeste, Brazil, takes the gold medal in the Gold Division 3 playoffs. Fantastic game between these two teams. Absolutely brilliant games throughout the tournament. Div 3 has been a pleasure to watch because so many games. There's all 3-2s coming out from these teams on the upper bracket. Hopefully there'll be more in the third place final. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for playing, to everybody who played. GG's to everybody. And we'll see you for more Quake soon.